Every game begins the same way.
The ink has barely dried on the contracts for Zach Eflin and Shane Baz, but my sources and recent reports, including critical intel from John Heyman, indicate that Mike Elias is nowhere near closing the wallet or considering the roster finalized. The Baltimore Orioles are aggressively positioned in the market for an elite left-handed starting pitcher, and the name circling most heavily within the front office corridors is Ranger Suarez. We are talking about a calculated strategic move to correct the fatal flaw that cost us the postseason. In 2025, Suarez, coming off a solid season of 12 wins and 8 losses with the Philadelphia Phillies, posting a 3.20 ERA and a 1.22 whip, represents exactly the type of stability and ice in the veins demeanor that was missing from our rotation when the pressure mounted. The interest is real and confirmed, but the situation is complex because we are not alone at this negotiating table. The New York Mets, Chicago Cubs, and San Francisco Giants are monitoring the situation closely, which will inevitably drive up the market value of the 30-year-old southpaw. The analysis here needs to go beyond basic numbers. Suarez accumulated a 4.7 BUAR over 157.1 innings, proving himself to be one of the most effective starters in the National League over the last 2 years. His fit in Birdland would be seamless, projecting to lead the rotation alongside Trevor Rogers and Kyle Bradish, pushing names like Dean Krimmer to the back of the line and solidifying a depth we simply didn't have last year. The front office knows that relying solely on Tyler Wells or waiting for the full development of Cade Povich and Brandon Young is a risk that a team with World Series aspirations cannot afford to take. The arrival of Pete Alonso and Taylor Ward has already transformed the offense, but baseball, at the end of the day, is decided on the mound, and inserting Suarez would bring a necessary balance of lefties and righties that would make life a nightmare for opposing hitters in short playoff series. What stands out to me is Suarez's consistency in big games. He's not just a stat accumulator in the regular season, he is a pitcher who knows how to navigate dangerous lineups, which is vital in the AL East. If the market inflates too much and Suarez escapes to the West Coast or Queens, the plan B is actually a premium option that would make a lot of noise. Framber Valdez, the former Astros ace, now 32, had a respectable 2025 with 187 strikeouts and a 3.66 ERA in nearly 200 innings. Valdez is a workhorse, an innings eater in the most complimentary sense of the term, but he would come at a significantly higher financial cost than Suarez, requiring a long-term commitment that would test the Orioles' new spending philosophy. However, the message that signing either of these two would send to the league and to us, the fans, is unequivocal. The championship window is wide open right now. After watching the 2025 playoffs from the couch, the pressure on Elias to deliver a fail-safe roster is immense. We've already secured the bullpen with Helsley and Kittredge, solved the power issue at the plate with Alonso, and the expectation is that Jackson Holliday will finally break out in 2026, solidifying himself as the star we all expect. The missing piece is that top-of-the-rotation starter to ensure we don't burn out the bullpen in August and September. The current depth with Krimmer, Baz, and Eflin is good, but good doesn't win championships. We need exceptional. The rotation needs someone who can take the mound in Game 1 of a divisional series and give us 7 solid innings. Valdez or Suarez brings that. We are seeing a Baltimore Orioles team that is keeping its word to invest, but the final execution of this last move will dictate whether we are just contenders or absolute favorites. Roster construction is 90% complete, but that final 10% is the most expensive and the hardest to get right. Elias's strategy has shifted from hoarding prospects to acquiring ready-made veterans, a paradigm shift that validates the anxiety of every fan who shouted, "Oh," during the anthem in the rebuilding years. Now it's time to see who blinks first in negotiations, and given this all-or-nothing scenario, the question for you is this: considering the budget and play style, do you prefer the consistency and cost-effectiveness of Ranger Suarez, or do you believe we should break the bank and go all in for Framber Valdez, even if it compromises future flexibility? I want to see your technical opinion in the comments right now. If you want to be the most well-informed fan in Birdland, like the video and share it with your baseball group.